Simon, I think you had a lot of time for this fella, did you not? Valérien Ismaël.
In his Barnsley, guys, yeah.
In his Barnsley days, yeah, he did well there. Alex Crook tells me this lunchtime that Ismaël is emerging as Blackburn's top target to become their new manager. The former West Brom boss Ismaël has been out of work since he was sacked by Watford in March 2024. Gary O'Neill was highly thought of by the Blackburn board as well. He's ruled himself out of the running to replace John Eustace at Ewood Park. So it seems that Ismaël is one of the front runners.
Well, he did a great job at Barnsley. I don't think he did a great job, seemingly not at West Bromwich Albion. So my initial impressions of him were very favourable because of the outcomes he got at Barnsley, but subsequent to that hasn't done the things that I would have thought he would have done.
Yeah, Martin, at this stage I'm looking, I've got the Premier League table in front of me, and of course we're looking at Liverpool leading the way by some distance from Arsenal, then Nottingham Forest, then Manchester City, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Villa, Brighton and ninth, on and on it goes.
Certainly down to Villa, because I really like what they've done in the transfer market. Good response at the weekend. As you say, they're starting to go through the gears. Chelsea have, Jim, they've fallen off a cliff since Boxing Day. Terrible run that they're on. Bournemouth lost at the weekend, but they've been quite magnificent. They've really been a standout story. So Newcastle were up and down, inconsistent. Another good win gets them back in it. Forest, the teams over Liverpool's shoulder, all three lost this weekend. So it's sort of concertinaing. And that middle table, even with Fulham, who then lost again at the weekend, have been on 6 or 7 games. I think you go down to maybe to a Fulham and even Brentford now. The way that they're playing, Jim, and the way they've adjusted their style, there's no real easy game.
Anywhere from 3rd to 11th, really.
Well, I don't think I'd go that far back. But then if we've got 5 teams in the Champions League, and then we've got a Europa League place in the Confederation, so you are going halfway down the table, aren't you? Yeah.
And if we look specifically, Martin, at Newcastle, it almost begs the question, the way they go about their business at the moment. Recently they've shipped 4 at Manchester City.
Crazy game. I've seen the best of us and the worst of us really in 2 45 minutes. I thought we were outstanding in that first half, everything that we weren't against Manchester City in our last game. Dynamic, fluid, played with speed, intensity. We sprinted, we attacked really well, but we didn't sustain it. In the second half, we lost momentum and then couldn't recapture it.
I mean, 1 minute, they're flying. They beat Arsenal to reach the Carabao Cup final. The next minute, as I say, shipping 4 at City, 4 at home to Bournemouth. Then they're 4-1 up against Nottingham Forest, who have been doing damn well, of course, themselves. Do they pick and choose their games virtually?
No, I don't believe they do. I think their game's really based on energy. And I think they just went through a little blip where there a lot of games close succession, and he couldn't really get the best from them because it is high octane football, running into channels, Isak, pace. Everything's about pace, power, energy. Yeah. And then the crowd, there's a fever there at St James's. So it's and when they went behind in this game, by the way. And then they came back, but all credit to Forest. I mean, they matched them, didn't they? For pace, power, all over the pitch. They scored scruffy goals. They got back in, and even at the end, you wondered if they could, with another 4 or 5 minutes on the clock, Jim, they could have got something out of the match.
I wonder what sort of shift in their status they'll get, Simon, if they at last win something. If they win this thing on the 16th of March at Wembley against Liverpool, they win it.
I hope they do. I mean, Liverpool have won this thing before. Liverpool are going to win the Premier League. I mean, with all due respect to Liverpool fans, they want to win everything they can win. You'd like to see these honours being shared around. Of course, the team that wins has got to be the deserving winner. But I do hope it's Newcastle. I mean, I think Newcastle's performance yesterday at periods of time, Forest adjusted in the second half because Newcastle ripped them to pieces down the left-hand side with overloads, with Anthony Gordon being the outball all the time. And they created 4 goals in 11 minutes. But Forest are resilient, and they came back into the game. And as Eddie Howe said, I mean, Newcastle are an exciting team to watch. They're a good side to watch. The players, I mean, I thought Lewis Miley was outstanding out there. Keeps Tonali out the side, which is no mean feat.
Does that then compromise some of the balance when Tonali doesn't play? That's the thing.
That's why they kept him on. That's when they brought him on and kept Miley on the field, didn't they?
They did after 70 minutes. And Harvey Barnes now fit again. Callum Wilson, Jim, who's had a terrible time with injuries. Everyone now suddenly coming back again. Yeah. So they're looking. You'd have to say that Newcastle know what it's all about. They've got that bug now of playing in the Champions League. They want it back.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.